Notifications to go out as I bring up this chat somewhere. Let's see. Penelope, your eyeballs. Okay, let's see. Look at my phone and figure out what it says. Okay. Yay! Notifications have worked, I guess. Hi, Mary G and H Heart and Just T. Hello, hello. Yay! It has worked. Awesome. Happy Friday. We have made it to a Friday. Hooray for us. It doesn't feel like a Friday yet to me. I still don't feel like I've made it. I still don't feel like I'm out of the woods yet. I still feel like there's so much to do. Oh my goodness. Michelle Bieneman, hello, hello. And just in case, happy and hello to your mom as well. I was going to say happy Friday and hello to your mom as well. I missed the word. Let's see. Boost my chair up a little bit. I felt like I was sitting on the floor. Alrighty. Man, what a week it has been. I don't know if everyone else feels like it's like exasperation, but I do. I swear. I feel like I need to get so many more videos out, and I feel like I need to get so much better, like, clued back into the world. I'm telling you, this whole being unplugged business that's been happening lately for me, it's for the birds. I need to get tuned back in. I'd like to. I'm just now catching up on everything that I missed in the world in April while I was dealing with 2 deaths. I've just been inundated with this first week of May, just trying to get all caught up, and so I still feel behind. I'm like, no, I can't catch up. I'm still behind. Michelle, your mom says, how you perking? I hope she's perking good. I'm perking all right, I reckon. Sarah with an H was like, that was crazy about the kefir explosion. Seriously, I've got an orange one with me here today, and don't worry, I have already burped it outside before I came in to make sure. Like, now I'm paranoid, and I know that one was a fluke. I know that one was a one-off, but it was such a destructive one-off that, honestly, I cleaned it for 2 days, and I'm still finding shit in places that I need to clean more, and I just don't have the energy to clean more for a 3rd day on this stuff. I just don't have the energy to do it again. So I'm just putting it off until I get, some sort of a second wind of energy, or, maybe if I have some caffeine or something and get a little energy, then I might go for round 3 in cleaning with the things that I found. But that one was a fluke. But still, even with that one being a fluke, I take all my water kefirs outside in the backyard, point it away from me and away from the house, and then open it just in case. And this one, it didn't. It was like, see, this is all the fizz in this. It's just like a little baby fart. That's what I'm used to. There's every once in a while, it's a stronger baby fart instead of it's like a But, yeah, what happened the other day? Ridiculous. Truly and completely. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Sarah with an H says the new Pope was announced the other day. He's American. That feels weird to me. I don't know why that feels weird. I'm not even Catholic. I don't know anything about popes. I don't know anything about popes that have been in the past, or I don't know shit about popes. But just hearing that, I guess congratulations that it's been announced. Congratulations that he's American. Holy, that's weird, isn't it? I don't know. I find that weird. That feels weird to me when I think of popes. I mean, I think of like Italy and Europe and you know, people who speak a different language as their first language instead of, you know, English or something. I don't know. He's from Chicago? No way. This is so weird. To me, I don't know. Maybe this is normal to other people, but to me, I'm like, what? Weird. Carla Shropshire, hello. Aw, thank you. And yes, happy Friday, everyone. Very kind of you, Carla, very kind. Pope Leo the 14th. Interesting. Well, I guess congratulations to him. Congratulations to us in the United States for having a pope, I guess. And I mean, I guess that means he has to, like, if he was living, I guess he was living in Chicago. You said he's from Chicago. I guess he was living there and, like, he's got to move to the Vatican now. Like, is that what happens? Like, you become the Pope, so now you have to pick up your life and move? Does he, I mean, I'm sure he speaks Latin, you know, as like a Pope or a Catholic or whatever, but, like, does he have to know Italian to go over there and live in Rome? I have so many questions. Wow, man. See, I'm really annoyed that I've been so unplugged. Like I said, I get it. I've been unplugged for a very specific reason. You know, I'm just trying to process the losses. I'm trying to get caught up with everything I missed while I was going through those losses and stuff like that. So it makes sense. This happens. It's a part of life, whatever. But I am used to being a bit more plugged in than what I've been. Like I know nothing. And there's some people that are plugged into where they know everything that's going on in the news every minute that it comes out. I was somewhere in between where I knew some stuff. I didn't know a lot, but I was, you know, kind of caught up with some things for the most part, or at least had an idea of what's going on. So it feels so weird to not know anything right now. And that is crazy. That is a crazy thing to know. Man. Ooh, Just T says first one from the U.S. Wow. Just wow. Whoa. First of all, hello, Rita Hazlip. Hello. And you said you heard yesterday that he speaks 5 different languages and Italian is one of them? Well, damnatious. I mean, wow. Yeah, Sarah with an H says, yeah, he knows half a dozen languages, and his speech was in Latin. I imagined Latin would be one because I understand that, you know, old Catholics, not old people who are Catholics, but like old-timey Catholic stuff and popes and cardinals and all the people way up there. I know, like, Latin is basically a, like, you have to know this kind of thing. And so I get that that's kind of the common language for people high up in Catholicism. I knew that much. So I figured, okay, English and Latin he has to speak too. But, wow. Okay, and Old Broad, first of all, hello to you and happy Friday. And you said he speaks English, French, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese, and I guess Latin would make 6 for the half a dozen. Wow. Well, I guess if you are intending to become a priest and become a cardinal and with the hopes that you'd one day be a pope, it would behoove you to know a lot of different languages, especially those spoken in nearby European countries, so that if you were to ever be over there full time as Pope, that you could talk with as many of your, you call them constituents, people, as possible. So I'm glad that he's learned that. Damn. What? Sarah with an H says the smoke was red, white, and blue when announced. No way. No way. That almost... I have questions about that. I don't want to get too down in a rabbit hole with my brain being like wanting to understand every little detail about this. Like, I don't want to get too stuck, on any one particular thing. But like, Marina C, hello, hello. Wow. I do see myself wanting to go down a rabbit hole with this, but I'm going to try not to. Because I'm like, why would they have done red, white, and blue? They did, they don't, as far as I knew, and I guess I don't know much, I thought it was always just white smoke. And so, never smoke of different countries' flags. So why would they do smoke for the USA country flag if they didn't do that for other country flags in the past, or, things like that, or just... And then how do you turn it that color? Or you're going to get somebody to come in there and do some kind of pyrotechnic shit to make it turn that I don't know. I'm overthinking it. Oh, woo. We got some people coming in. Let's see. Gene XO, hello. And thank you doing the mod stuff. You're so good at this. Like, what the... K-Talks, hello. Let's see. Old Broad says the smoke was white. Sarah Lynn H says pull cards. Presumably about the Pope. Pull cards on it. Let's see. Just T says earlier in the week Trump posted a photo of himself as the Pope on X. What? Yeah, and because American Pope is the first. Wow, this is a lot. I'm grateful for this news. I'm grateful that y'all told me, because I have not plugged myself into this, but I was interested. Carla only saw white smoke. Okay. But interesting, wow. Pope Leo with some numbers. The 14th. Okay, I had to scroll up. To find that. Pope Leo the 14th. Interesting. Chicago. Wow. Interesting. Just so interesting. Let's see, Allie. First of all, hello, Allie. And then you said, I have seen other readers pull cards that have been pretty positive around him. Yeah, if I were to do a mini reading today about Pope stuff, I wonder what kind of questions would be good for a mini reading about the Pope. Since this seems to be budding news, y'all said it happened either a couple of days ago or yesterday or something like that. So either way, sounds very recent, and sounds like, big news, certainly, for Catholics around the globe. So that might be worth a little mini read today, if we can think of some questions that are, mini reading appropriate. Carla says, I'm not Catholic and I only watched briefly. Yeah, I'm not Catholic either, but I would have been interested in seeing the white smoke. I've never seen that before. I've heard people talk about it. My husband has talked about the white smoke and has said that in Mexico they would turn on the TV and they'd be waiting to see the white smoke, and when it would happen, people would be like, come here, here's the white smoke, kind of thing. So very interesting. It was announced on the 8th. And today, today's the 9th. So, wow. Very interesting. I am still weirded out by it being an American Pope. I don't know why that weirds me out. I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I guess, you know, if you're Catholic and you're devout and you've worked your way up the chain and you speak all these different languages, then you would be allowed like any other pope would be allowed, I guess. Or I mean, like any other cardinal would be allowed to be pope. I guess that would make sense. I'm just like, I don't know. My brain needs time to process this. Everybody else has had a day, it sounds like, to think about how they feel about it. And I'm still like, what? And May 8th is known as Victory Day in Europe. Just T says, I have a Catholic background, but I didn't watch. Interesting. Yeah, I imagine that, like, I imagine my husband didn't watch. He has a Catholic background, but I imagine he didn't, because if he had watched, then I figured he would have flagged my ass down and been like, they've announced, or, you know, they've chosen one, or something like that. So, watch me tell him and be like, they chose a pope, and it's Pope Leo the 14th, and he's American, and da-da-da-da, and watch him be like, yeah, I know, I watched it, or something like that, and then be like, Rico, why did you not tell me? Why are you withholding this information? Watch that happen. Yeah, so Carla's seen the smoke twice in her lifetime. Allie says, to be fair, he is technically the second pope from the Americas, because Pope Francis was the first being from South America. Okay? So he's the first, again, we don't really have a word for it, but United Statesian. We don't have a word for that here. That's how they call it in Spanish, I know, because my husband says it, and so there's a way to say that in Spanish, and maybe in other languages, but not in our own. So yeah, he's a United Statesian, but he's not the first American, because there was a South American that was a pope before him. LGGG, hello, and you didn't get a notification. YouTube is weird about that. I don't know who gets them and who doesn't, and what's the difference, because it doesn't seem to be based on who actually clicks the bell and subscribes and all of that stuff. That's supposed to be like, see how it says over here, click the bell, and then it'll say the other stuff, subscribe, all that stuff. People do that all the time, and then they're like, it didn't notify me. And I'm like, what? All right. Let's see. Yeah, first North American, old broad, which could contain Canada. But still, it is true. He's the first North American. But then we'll have to wait and see if somebody from Canada eventually becomes Pope, and then we'll change it again. Trisha Marie, hello. You said new pope is dual citizen, originally from Chicago, Illinois, was based in Peru? USA and Peruvian, Bishop of Chiclayo in Peru? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So I guess when he got high enough up and was like, I guess either a high priest or a cardinal or something like that, they put him as a bishop over a church in Peru. Allie says he was one of the younger candidates too, because he is 69 and the oldest was over 80 years old. This is very interesting. Learning a lot of Pope stuff today. Did not have that on my Friday bingo card. Learning a lot about Pope stuff. Let's see. Yeah, and Sarah with an H, I agree. It's interesting because Chiclayo and Chicago even look similar. Yeah. First North American Pope. Let's see. Yeah, so what should we ask for a mini reading, if there is something that y'all want to do a mini reading on around this new Pope? Then what should we ask? But that's good that Allie says other people who have like done readings on him have said good things so far. That's nice. Let's see. Allie says, and usually candidates are supposed to be younger than 80, but one was 81 to 83. That's wild. Sarah with an H says his intentions. So I guess wanting to check in on his intentions, see what his intentions are. Okay. Interesting. We could look into that. Any other ideas? I know it takes a while from y'all typing for me to see it. Let's see. Trisha Marie says he was a friend of Pope Francis and had an official role, essentially choosing the bishops of the Catholic Church. Damn. I mean, imagine the kind of like time, energy, and work you'd have to do to basically get to that kind of positioning to even be considered and chosen as Pope. Like you just have to, that is your entire life. I mean, I guess that's the point when you like become a priest and you're working up the ladder, you are giving your entire life to God and Catholicism and the whole thing. I get that, but like, just wow, it just makes you really think about what that means and how much is involved with that. The work, the networking, the moving wherever you get put for a church or moving to freaking Rome. Yeah, Trisha Marie agrees with like saying looking into his intentions could be a good possibility. His impact in the church and possibly the role of Catholicism in the future. Sarah says he has a Twitter account, the first social media Pope. It's just, God. I don't know if he runs it or if somebody, like if he has staff. Big stretch. If he has staff that would be like running it or typing for him or whatever, or delivering whatever messages. But I guess it's a way of being like, I want to have outreach. I want to, get messages out and stuff like that. It's a way to try to keep up with the times and how communication spreads these days. But yeah, those are good questions right there to ask about his intentions, his impact in the church, and possibly the role of Catholicism in the future. So I wonder if I can ask about those in quick ways. We shall see. We shall see how quick I can be trying to do that. Let me pull up the cards over here. Move this microphone right here. Move myself so I don't have to strain. Ugh, rolling over. All right. Little camera. You can do it. Let's see here. Let me get shuffled up. Of course, this is all alleged, just my interpretation. All alleged, just my interpretation. As I get shuffled up here. Hello, Marie. Hello. All right, we're going to look into these questions that Sarah with an H and Trisha Marie posed here for the group. looking into some Pope stuff, because apparently a new Pope was chosen, first one from the United States ever. Interesting. Let's see. So, all right, let's see. Spirit guides, angels, archangels, light beings surrounding me now. Spirit of Gaia and my higher self, please assist me in the sacred co-created process of pulling cards for the highest good of all sentient kind. Please allow me to pull the most accurate cards and read them in the most accurate ways for the highest good of all. Please protect me with my little baggie of salt here and help me to continue to raise my vibration higher, 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 and higher, so that I can be helpful and effective on this reading for the highest good of all. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you. Let's see. All right. So, first of all, just a little brief mini read on the new Pope Leo the 14th. I had to think about it. Pope Leo the 14th. New Pope's intentions. So, let's see here. Timestamp 26 minutes and 36 seconds into the live stream is when we're starting the mini reading. Let's see. So, from what we're seeing here, Five of Pentacles in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Well, I'm seeing a lot of reverse cards here. As I ask about intentions, this is maybe not as strong of a start as I was hoping, considering, like Allie was saying, that there's lots of readers that were seeing good things. And so certainly I don't want to be one of those people that sees not what everybody else sees, because then it's like, okay, is all of the internet wrong, or am I just wrong? So, not to say that this is all bad. To be fair, this card is better seen in its reverse position. So, it is stronger this way. We will give it that. We will give it that. And technically, this, from what I'm seeing here, isn't all about him. What it's showing me here in terms of his intentions, I do get the King of Pentacles in reverse, which is not necessarily a positive way to see this. And from what this is kind of giving here, it feels mostly like that if his intentions could be, not great, because it's about this Pentacles energy. The Pentacles energy are... Pentacles energy floats around people who are very of the earth, very, driven by earthly things, such as status and power, money, things like that. That doesn't necessarily make a person bad because they're driven by those things, but it is not usually something that you would think of if you're thinking of, someone very high up like a pope in a spiritual context. You think of high up spiritual people as, supposed to be above that, right? You're supposed to be beyond that. You're high up spiritually. Earthly matters and earthly things are supposed to not mean much to you because it's not about that or whatever. From what I am seeing, and again, I don't know anything about this man. Y'all broke the news to me here today. All I'm saying is that from what I'm getting here, it looks like he is driven by those kinds of things. He may not show that on the outside. I don't know if that's something that other people would know about him or think about him or say about him, or if that's something that he keeps as his own little inner secret to himself. But it seems like status, money, and power and those kinds of earthly things do mean a lot to him. So in terms of his intentions around being a pope, that kind of stuff does play a part in it for him. So he's likely to make decisions, do things, and say things that show his influence in these kinds of ways. So it's like, someone faced with, if there's two people here faced with the same decision that they have to make, and one person is influenced by status, power, control, money, things like that, and another person is influenced by emotionality, ethics, morals, the fate of the people, what they feel compelled to do spiritually, etc. These people might consider their decisions through different lenses than each other, and they might arrive at different kinds of answers or different decision points. They might arrive at different choices based on what's kind of motivating them or influencing them the most. And they would each be able to explain how they arrived there, why they chose that. They would each have an eloquent articulate kind of argument around that, but it would be different because it's all about their vantage point. It does show that here for him. Again, I don't want to speak ill of someone I don't know. I don't say that this makes him a bad person. It just shows that he is motivated in some way with his intentions by things that most people would consider of this earth, rather than beyond. That being said, Ace of Pentacles is in reverse, in which case I actually take this as probably a decent sign in this case, because with an Ace of Pentacles in reverse, this is like, I'm not going to take this gain or whatever. So this is like, oh, I want to take the kickbacks, and I want to take, slip me something under the table, or, that kind of stuff where you're getting a little something out of it, which you shouldn't be. That's in reverse. So I don't necessarily see him doing something that could like jeopardize his position. So even if he may, if he were to admit to himself, yeah, I do like the power of being Pope. Yeah, I do like the status of being Pope. Yeah, I do like how it feels to know that I, am in the Vatican and Rome and I rule over all of this. Like, there is a little something here that kind of gets to his head or ego from what I'm looking at here. But it doesn't look like he would engage in things in a physical way where he would easily destroy that. It looks like he wouldn't want to do something to jeopardize that kind of a standing. And so I don't see him, doing really horrible, underhanded, whatever kind of stuff, because it's like, I don't want to, get caught and go down for any kind of crap like that. So I'm not going to do that. So it kind of feels like somebody that does think and feel those ways, but they don't really want to admit that to themselves and others. And so they're trying to show one way on the surface and trying to deal with how they feel as their inner demons quietly on their own or something. And again, this one being in reverse is a positive position, because this is just saying that there are things he, I guess, was thinking about doing that now the blocks are released and he feels like I have more access to do those things now. So in that way, this is kind of like somebody that feels like, here's all the things I want to get done, but I can't really get done these things in my current standing. I need a different platform to be able to get these things done. Now that I'm in this platform, here's all my ideas and here's my ways that I can get things done. So it does look like somebody that has quite a few ideas and wants to try to figure out how to implement them, and might stir things up in a way to get that done. Some people consider that a good thing, because some people think of that as kind of like a mover and a shaker or whatever. So I do see some of that energy creeping in. Certainly I don't know that he would start out with that. That might be kind of let me lay low for a minute and then slowly start to kind of bring it in that direction, but it's something to watch. So in terms of intentions, I got a little weird mix here. Not terrible, but a little weird mix. Not what I expected to see. I'm going to pull these up and look at the other question here. But first, let me, as I'm shuffling, read. I'm trying to mix these up. Read y'all's comments. So, as I'm shuffling, Trisha Marie says, LOL, just FYI, I was raised Catholic, not the end-all, be-all here by any means, and have fallen a long ways away from actively practicing, but I did have a special place in my heart for Francis. Aw, well, thanks for sharing that, Trisha Marie. Let's see. And then you said, oof, on the reveals there. Gwen Harris, hello, and welcome here from London. Hello. And Trisha says, no, you're not alone. I actually saw a couple that had not so great readings. Yeah, for a start, that was not the strongest start that you would hope. It's also not terrible. It didn't necessarily freak me out or ring any like alarm bells or red flags, but it did make me side-eye a little. So there's that. Glam Girl ATL, hello. And then you're like, yikes, it's not good for a pope. Yeah, about the kind of, that reversed King of Pentacles especially. Yeah. And Sarah with an H is like, well, it's very human and true. Let's see. Trisha Marie says, I have my reservations about him. In my opinion, some of his actions in the past make me side-eye him, but we'll see. And I literally just said side-eye before I read your comment. So funny. Twinning. And I don't know anything about his past actions, so that would be interesting to know. Let's see. LGGG says, maybe it's the desire to bring progress to the church, giving women a bigger role in leadership, etc. Possibly. TP, hello. No worries about being late, whatever. When we're all, especially when there's replays and stuff, you just get here whenever you get here. Let's see. Awesome. Okay, so next question that y'all put up here too around that for the mini reading. Let's see. Let me find it. I know Trisha Marie wrote it. Where was it? Okay. So his intentions, which we just looked at, his impact in the church, and possibly the role of Catholicism in the future. So his impact in the church. Yeah, let's look at that. So, yeah, speaking of, since we were just talking about potential for wanting to do mover and shaker things or make some progress or whatnot, even if he might have his kind of head down for a little bit before he starts to introduce some of those things. Because technically, if popes kind of are in there until they die, then, theoretically, at 69 years old, he'd have quite some time before that would happen, you'd think, maybe. He's probably taken good care of and probably takes good care of himself and, all that kind of stuff. So by all accounts, he should have some time, we'd think. In which case, maybe there's no rush to change things up. Maybe there's like, first let me get settled in and, make sure people are bought into me being the new pope first, and maybe establish some rapport and all of that first. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, let's see about his impact in the church in the future here. Mini reading on that. Well, damnatious. I shuffle these cards a lot. You'll see me shuffle all the cards. I'm not like railroading this dude on purpose. And like I said, the first pull about his intentions weren't terrible. It was just more human than what we would want for a pope figure, but not terrible. And again, these cards here are not terrible cards. So far, I'm not getting any red flags about the new pope. I'm just getting more yellow flags than what you'd want for a pope. You want it to be full green. And I've gotten 2 yellows now. So, let's see. About his impact in the church. Again, this is like, I don't want to be stuck here. I want things to move, but I feel like my hands are kind of tied. I'm not really being able to say things or do things quite the way I wanted, and so this is not turning out to be my happily ever after. So it seems like he has more ideas for what he wants to do and say and enact that he thought all this time he had to just kind of think it because he wasn't going to be able to act on it because he wasn't in a position to be able to act on it. And now here is his chance. He'll be able to be in the type of position where he can act on it because he's on the tippity top. And yet he will find that he's not really able to do quite as much as he wanted, and that his hands are more tied than he thought. And it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be sobering. It's going to put another additional wave of humility in him to kind of be like, well, shit. I thought of all positions, this would be the position to enable me to get my ideas off the ground and running. And so why am I not being able to do that the way I envisioned? So not saying he won't be able to do anything. There might be some things that come down the pipeline where we find out here and there, like, oh, he's made this change, or, you know, he suggested this thing, or this is on his plan, or whatever. We might find out things down the road like that. But I don't think it's going to be all what it was cracked out to be to him in his mind. This looks a little womp, womp, womp there. So I don't necessarily see, in terms of his impact on the church, that he's able to impact it in the way that he was hoping, in the way that he had envisioned. And I think that what impacts he is able to make, it doesn't change things for the better so significantly that it's like, how do I put this? Like, I'll put it this way. When we think about the Queen of England who recently passed away and how she was like the longest reigning monarch of this, you know, British Empire or whatever the hell, people think of like, wow, look at how much she did and how things have changed from her rule, from the people who were before her, and look how, like, just, whoa, people are just mind blown at the time she was in and how much she accomplished and how far it came and all this kind of stuff. And they credit her to a lot like that. It seems like he was kind of hoping that he will become a figure like that will have that type of a legacy. And, you know, that would be talked about for many generations to come for his, you know, new leadership in that way. And I just don't necessarily see him coming off being as well adored and as, you know, intense of a legacy as that. It just doesn't, I'm getting the womp 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 kind of energy. So the whole, like, intentions versus reality, that kind of a thing. Bless his heart. Bless his little heart. Okay. Last question that y'all said here for the mini reading was, okay then, in terms of all of this and the fact that now Catholicism is kind of on the main stage because of this big thing that has just recently happened here in our lifetime, what role is Catholicism going to play in the world's future in this respect? Is there anything worth noting that we should know about, based on how now this has kind of stirred up some dust, like kicked up some interest? So what are we seeing in terms of Catholicism's role in our world's future now in this way? So it's interesting. Finally, we get one upright card, and it's not in its stronger position to be read in this way. This is stronger to be read in its reverse position, though. So with all of these pulls, we keep getting this kind of this sense of like 1 up, 2 down type of feeling, like this 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of a feeling, which, you know, is again, a little womp womp womp, about the energy. So what I'm seeing here about, you know, the future in terms of how Catholicism impacts all of us in the future, this 4 of Swords in this upright position is not its active state. This is its slowed down state. This is kind of a, it doesn't really do a lot of impacting. Like, this is kind of slowing down. This is a card you see when things are kind of going dormant. So it feels more than ever the energy of like Catholicism going more dormant than opening up and flourishing and expanding because of all this newfound interest and da-da-da-da-da. So there's, to me, a little bit of a closing in type feeling rather than a blowing out in type of expansion energy. This is kind of an enclosure. The Justice card in reverse feels like there's going to be some weird legal things coming up through this Pope's tenure that is going to bring scrutiny. So, like, remember how there was scrutiny in the past because there was a lot of attention pulled towards the Vatican and the Catholic Church for, you know, treatment of little boys and things like that, and all of that kind of blew up at some point. And so it was legal stuff in a not great position. I see some more legal stuff in a not great position coming down the pipeline during this Pope's tenure. That doesn't necessarily mean I see more little boy stuff. It could be that. It could be something else. I'm just saying that I'm seeing some weird, like, entanglements of sorts being highlighted and coming up and out into the surface during this Pope's tenure in a way that does not reflect well on Catholicism. With this here, this is a Silver Linings card, and so this feels to me like at least Catholicism as its own entity, its own system, will continue to continue to exist in its own ways, continue to hold space in its own ways, because it's kind of, again, comparing this to the British royals, how people say, well, you know, if nothing else, the royal family, no matter all the hits that keep coming at them, we'll give them that they're like cockroaches and they never, you know, the system never croaks. The system knows how to take care of itself. The system knows how to protect itself. The system knows how to keep itself going. Some kind of a way it keeps going. That's what they're giving me here, where it doesn't feel like any kind of expansion of Catholicism. It actually feels like a little bit of a dampening some kind of a way. And possibly due to some of these legal entanglements and exposures coming on during Pope Leo's tenure, but it does at least look like it knows how to self-preserve. It knows how to keep existing. It knows how to protect itself and continue on, and it will. So I don't see it, you know, imploding in such a way that it disappears during this Pope's tenure. So very interesting reading. Like, with all 3 of these, I don't know why I'm like, I didn't expect that. You know, how many times do I do these readings and I'm like, I didn't expect that. I guess I just don't ever inspect anything. It's like, on one hand, nothing ever shocks me anymore when I'm reading, because you never know what the hell the cards are going to come out and say. But then on the other hand, just because nothing ever, like, really blows my mind and shocks me anymore, it doesn't mean that I'm not like, what? I didn't expect to see that. Like, it still kind of gets you. Just like, again, if you have a loved one that is really ill and they pass away, it's not that you're shocked that they passed away because they were really ill, but still, once they do, you're like, I didn't expect it. I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't ready for that. You know, it takes a little bit to catch up to processing it. And that's how I feel like these readings happen for me all the time. I swear. Wow. Let's see. I'm going to catch up on the comments here. See where I am at. And I'm going to take another sip. Y'all keep hydrating. I'm hydrating with some water kefir today. Some orange flavored water kefir. Sorry. I've ground up orange slices in here. And a little chunk of it came out. And I didn't want to choke on it. And I also didn't want to be like, you know, barn animal in front of all y'all. But it was there. I wasn't not going to spit it back into the bottle. So, sorry. Hello, Angela McCree. Hello. You said Latin, Spanish, Italian, and English. Yeah, people were talking about how many languages he speaks. It's impressive. I love that. TP. You said, as Catholic, Pope Leo needs to keep his roll slow and low. The world is a different place. Fair enough. And then Sarah with an H says, he doesn't think women should have same positions as men have. Isn't that a bit, and I don't know for sure, but isn't that a little bit par for the course for Catholics? I don't, like people that are, again, that high up in the Catholic world think that, you know, biblically, that women don't have the same positions as men, or they shouldn't for a reason biblically. And same with like LGBT community, biblically, it's a big problem, or, you know, like stuff like that, that usually speaking, if you get that high up, in a religious sect, pretty much period, but, certainly as Catholics, that those things become issues, points of contention, things of the sort. Let's see. I was like, I can't see my comments because I have this camera right here. It's on a beam, and the beam is in my view like this, where I'm like, do I look over it or do I look under it to read the comments? Oh, goodness. Sarah on the Nate says, we're in a time where our leaders are very, very human. You know? Can't argue that. Shit. LGGG says, is there any pope that would give you green cards instead of yellow? You know, I don't know. I've never read on a pope before. So that's a damn good question, LGG. That's a good question. I've never read on a pope before. So I don't know what the colors would usually be. I don't know if most popes would usually come up as green, or most popes would usually come up as yellow or as red flags. I don't know what would be the common way for most popes to come up. So yeah, I don't know what to compare this to. I don't have a point of comparison. If this is like, oh, well, you know, this is better than usual, or, oh, this is worse than usual, or this is about what it usually is. I don't know. I love that point. That's an excellent point. Yeah. Trisha Marie says, yes, I take particular issue with his actions regarding a convicted priest and his proximity to children. Almost a hard no for me, but again, trying to reserve judgment and see what happens. The plot thickens. Dara Merkin, hello, and welcome. LGGG says, Trisha Marie, totally agree with that. Not to excuse that behavior from anyone, but isn't that a consistent problem with the church in general? Their response to WA's laws... WA's law about reporting SA tracks. I read all that wrong. Okay, the first part was a question, the second part wasn't. So, you said, isn't that a consistent problem with the church in general? ? The response to, I guess, Washington's law about reporting SA tracks. I'm guessing you're saying Washington's law. I don't know what WA is other than that, so I might be wrong. But, so interesting. So I was bringing that up in here about the legalities being like, it could be around that, but it doesn't have to be. It might be, but it may not be. And then now y'all are bringing this up in the comments. Wow. Wow. Dara says, gonna duck out and enjoy after work. Pray for bees in New Jersey at your flower farm. I'm hoping you get bees at your flower farm. And yay. I'm hoping that you have a fun time being a part of the replay crowd later. So I'm sure you'll be watching this back later as we're talking about you. Sarah with an H, wait till she reads the chat confirming what she's reading. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, I said that. I said it could be that. It might be that. It might not be. I don't know, but somewhere around the legalities. And then now I'm reading what y'all are saying. That's so funny. Trisha Marie says, the irony of you saying that after we type that. Oh, man. I'm telling you, we can't make this shit up. We cannot make this shit up. Let me pull myself back over here. Let's see here. TP says, Leo feels more like a figurehead to me and less pontiff. I should know what pontiff means. I'm sorry. I apologize for my ignorance of not knowing what pontiff means. Let's see. Yeah, Sarah with an H said, that was a question I thought of if the church was still going to exist but didn't type it out. Well, I'm glad it kind of came up then, yeah. OGG. G says, I'm just saying I think every candidate would have had scandals of similar nature because it's such a widespread issue. Maybe Leo's conscience will drive him to make big internal changes on this. And Trisha Marie said, your cards line up with my intuition, which I think is good, but also womp, womp, womp. Yeah. Let's see. The Vatican in general. I hear ya. And Trisha Marie says, yes, you're correct. I know peeps have been pushing to change that women's role in the Catholic Church. I wish it wasn't even a question, but alas, it's an over 1,000-year-old religion. Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. Okay, so it is Washington State. So I was like, I don't know if WA means Washington, but I'm going to say Washington. So, CC Create, hello. See how long he will be the Pope? I could ask. Tarot is notoriously not good at timelines, so I would say take this with a huge grain of salt. Tarot is one of those, I'll give you a range and you can determine, based on whatever is happening in people's free will, where on that range it ends up. So it's likely to give me a range, probably not likely to give me super, super accurate timing. So take with a total grain of salt here. But yeah, if we're gonna grain of salt ballpark, about how long he might be the Pope, CC Create says. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so first of all, the Knight of Wands isn't even a numbers card. Then the Three of Wands here in reverse is a numbers card. It's a low numbers card. Both of those coming out in reverse. And I mean, I'm shuffling all around. I'm swiveling my deck all around. There's uprights and reverses all up in this deck. It just seems to keep coming out in reverse forms with this. This is a slower card in this position. In a reverse position, this is slower. In a reverse position, this is slower. This is like waiting. This is also a waiting card. So both of these cards are coming up slow, but both of them are coming up reverse. And this coming up with a 3 energy here, which is a relatively low energy. So we're getting slightly conflicting energy here, but I would say this lends itself to him being the Pope for a decent chunk of time. It doesn't feel like something happening like super soon to cause a problem to that, or where we're like, oh shit, didn't see this in a reverse happening, super fast or whatever. This feels like there's, at least as the current trajectory is going, the energy that has the path that has the most energy behind it looks to be that he would be the Pope for a good chunk of time here. This is slow energy. I'm still not understanding why we're getting a Three of Wands, other than the fact that in the reverse position, this indicates slowness. So any other context cards that we want to add here to give us any other insights? Emperor card coming in reverse, though. This feels like it's complicated question. This feels like it's complicated because the Emperor card, again, it's not what would be the Pope card, the Hierophant would be. But given that this guy came up as a reversed King of Pentacles a while ago, and now coming up as Emperor, this is a card about control and dominance and power and things like that, which were things that we were seeing earlier when we were looking at that reversed King of Pentacles, that were like, these are some character traits I'm not so keen on. For him to be coming up here in the reverse position, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. This is supposed to be a mini reading, but we're going to do it. Empress card coming up upright, which is another weird one, and then Ten of Cups coming up in reverse. So this is a very scattered and all over the place kind of read to me, CC Create, with a very valid question about how long he would be Pope. I would consider, by the first two cards they gave me, this feels like a good chunk of time here. Feels like I don't see something that would interrupt his ability to stay in there for a while. However, it's just weird when I get these kinds of things, because the Emperor coming up in reverse in some ways could feel like a step down type of energy, especially if Empress energy comes through, like healthy, healed type energy comes through, and a Ten of Cups being like, this isn't the happily ever we wanted. So what this feels like is it's likely he could be in here for quite some time. However, caveat, if we end up on a trajectory where some of those legalities that I talked about earlier looks like they bubble up in a way that it's hard to keep really, really good control over, there is a potential of pressure to step down, or pressure to transition, or pressure to take him out, or, things like that. If he began to look like he was a stain on the institution rather than something positive. So I would say if he's able to keep that drama at bay, I see quite a bit of longevity here for him. If the trajectory, the path that does bring up those legalities that are going to come up no matter what, that we've already looked at, those things, if those things come up and they get a little bit more severe and out of control than what's already kind of in the works, then things could go a little bit awry for him. So we're gonna hope that since this came up first, this is, more likely to be the case. But again, potentials over years and years can shift and flux. That's the nature of the world we live in. If we're looking at something for the next 20 years, the future is a lot less predictable if we're looking over a 20-year period than if we're looking over a 5-year period, so to speak. In 5 years, the energy is much more consistent. There's much more ease of predictability because it's much closer. Less things can happen between now and then. A lot of different potentials can happen between now and like 20 years from now or something. So if this potential gets exacerbated, his time could get cut short. But for now, his current potential looks pretty long-standing for him. So I know it's not the easiest way to kind of read a timeline type of thing, CC Create, but that's why I was like, grain of salt this. Tarot does context better than a, solid number, but that's how the light beings are interpreting that question. That's how they're approaching it. It's a good question, though. Let's see. Let me catch up. Where am I? TP says, do you suppose all the candidates get background checks? That's a good question too. I want to know that. You would imagine so, right? You would imagine that if they're going to put you in a position that high, that they don't want any kind of a stain on their institution, and so they would ensure that everything is a go. I would imagine that even before you became a cardinal, you would kind of have to do that, but I don't know. That's just me guessing. LGGG says, the Vatican has said any priests will be excommunicated if they report essays shared during confessions. Priests would be excommunicated if they report essays shared during confessions. I guess so, because they were like, in terms of a part of their religion, that confession is supposed to be sacred, that even if you were to confess to, offing somebody, that's supposed to be safe between you and the priest because it's protected or something, that the religion thinks of that way. I don't know if the legal system considers the same, and maybe it's different country to country, I don't know, but yeah, in terms of their religious culture, that's what I had always heard, is that it's supposed to all be protected information that's shared spiritually. Oh, Pontiff is the Pope. Ha! I'm a dumbass. Thank you. Means the active Pope. Okay. Let's see. Grace Moon, hello. Yes, we did do a mini reading on the new Pope. And by mini reading, I mean we asked 4 different questions. So, a mini reading on the new Pope. We asked 4 different questions. I might have to pull the reading out and clip it up from all the different times we took a break and read comments and stuff, and put it as its own video or something. I don't know. I'll think about that. It might just be easier to watch this whole thing. I don't know. Let's see. See about what his tenure would be like. Good deal. We took a look into that. Great question. Let's see. Does he have any association with Opus Dei? What is Opus Dei? Ayana95, hello. And Susie Q926, hello. Yes. We love you back. TP says, I gave up confessions long ago. I tell my mother, and if she can forgive me, so can the Lord. That lady carries a grudge. You're funny. And yeah, it was a big mini reading. I didn't mean for it to get out of hand, but that's what that's how it happens. Man, we've already been going for over an hour. We need to do the giveaway. Oh, I don't need to forget that. Let me do that. Let me find, where is that at? How do I do that? Can I not do it? Will it not let me do the giveaway now? Uh-oh. I gotta try to figure this out. I'm pressing the same button that I always press for the giveaway stuff, and it feels like it's not giving me the same options that it used to give me. And they keep saying, I'm gonna do this for as long as YouTube will continue to let me. I hope YouTube is continuing to let me. I hope they haven't just decided against allowing that. Let's see. If I click this button, it would just put an emoji in the chat. I don't want to do that. If I click this button, it says start a Q&A, start a poll, or close. When I click the chat button, it just says show support for Lucile with super stickers and super chat. I am Lucile. I'm gonna send myself a damn sticker. I want to have the options of gifting things. Let me see. Let me try to close that out. Let me re-sign into chat. Sign into chat. Open in web browser. Web browser is going over here. Live chat. Community guidelines. Okay. Click the button. No. It's showing everything that I'm seeing in the chat is showing me as if I am a participant rather than that I am the host of this chat. So it's not, at least today, showing me that I have any power to gift anything, to do any giveaways, because it's like treating me like I'm just any person in the audience or attendance or, you know, whatever, person in the chat. So why am I not being considered? Top of the chat, live chat. So channel memberships, gifting. Let me see if I do this. If I click that, will it change anything? No. Well, shit. Live chat. That's what I had it as. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why this is happening. See, participate. I'm literally clicking on everything. Let's see if anybody's writing anything about it. Politics is still involved in the papacy, I guess. I have reservations, but I still wish him the best. That's a good question, too. We didn't ask about politics. Time flies when having fun. I agree. Yeah, I'm signed in over here. LGGG is like, but you're signed in on that device? I thought I was. Am I not signed in anymore? I think it's 10 a month that you can give away. Yeah, I've been doing, 10 a month because I've been doing 5 at each live stream, and there's 2 live streams a month. And the view that it's having me look at this as if I am not me or something, like I am one of the 30 viewers in here. I'm like, but no. Let's see. Moderation activity will be shown. Yeah, because it says I can do super stickers or super chat, but I don't want to send a super chat. And let me click on super sticker. I don't want to send a super sticker. I want to gift people. What the hell? I'm frustrated. And I signed out of the chat and back in the chat. I'm always logged in on my phone app and my computer. I haven't done anything different today than I always do. That's the weird thing. So let me I don't know what let me something. Let me check if I pull up YouTube over here on the thing. Is it recognizing me? And I'm sorry if that means we can't have it happen this time, then I apologize, and I hope that it will happen next time. I hope that this is just a fluke and not like gonna be a pervasive problem from here on out. Yeah, when I click in here, it recognizes me, my account here. Just as always, it's recognizing my account here, just as always. So I'm literally done nothing different, and don't know why it thinks I have done something different. Can I join my own live stream and do it that way? I'm gonna try that, Who's to say I can't try that? Can't try to drive my own, let's see. Okay, I am now attending my own live stream. Let me pause it. Well, maybe I won't pause it. Let's see if I can. Join analytics, edit video, live chat. Here is my live chat. Report, share, clip, join the conversation. It won't let me open the panel. And top chat here. Let's see. Membership gifting. I joined my own live chat. I think it recognizes me when I joined my own live chat. I literally I have a desktop computer here. Y'all are at a desktop computer with 2 different screens. I am live streaming on this one screen. I opened up on the other display over here, the second screen over here. I opened up a new YouTube tab, went to my channel, found my live stream, jumped in it like I'm an attendee. And when I do that, when I go literally through YouTube and jump in like I'm an attendee and I'm attending it over there, and I go into the live chat and I click on the button, it says membership gifting. You have 10 memberships to gift this month. You can send 5 now. So literally, in my normal way of doing this, where I am the person initiating the live stream, it's saying I'm just an attendee. But when I go over here now, as an attendee, it recognizes me as the host of the live stream, where it says I can gift. The fuck is that about? What is that about? Technology. Are we in a Mercury retrograde again? What the hell? All right, so I'm going to see if this works. It says I can send 5 now. Let's see if it's a liar, because I don't know. Let me see. If I press it, I just want to see. Does this work? Okay, it claims I sent 5 memberships. All right, let me see. Congratulations to Cat Mama and Allie and Keisha West and Cat, another cat. So there's 2 cats have received memberships. That's hilarious. But that's only 4 people, yeah? Cat Mama, Allie, Keisha West, and Cat. I thought it said I could gift 5 memberships. I clicked the gift 5 now button, and 4 people are named. What's going on with YouTube today? I can't initiate this as a host of my chat, but I can initiate this if I go in and as Sarah with an H says, Beception, go in there and intercept my own chat as an observer, and suddenly now I can act as a host over there. But when I click the gift 5 people button, it only gifted 4 people. Where's the 5th gift here? Okay, there's the 5th gift. Oceana Song also got gifted. Okay. I see it. All right. I'm just getting all up in arms about it. I need to calm my ass down. So congratulations, Cat Mama and Allie and Keisha West and Cat and Oceana Song. Congratulations, all 5 of you. You have received a gift membership to have 1 month free in the Perk Squad. Get to be a part of Perk Squad for a whole month. Congratulations. Thank y'all for bearing with me. I'm going to exit out of my video over here because it's very distracting to see me on a time lag delay in 2 different chats. I don't want to attend myself. So I'm going to get rid of myself and just be only one of me here, because yeah, there was me here, and the me here. There was 3 of me, and I don't want that. I'm over it. I can't handle that. My brain is not equipped. I don't have the capacity here. I don't have the capacity. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Y'all are funny. Everybody in here that was like, "Oh shucks," so I guess that means you're gonna have to do an extra live. Y'all are funny. Hopefully it won't happen like this again. And if it does, then hopefully it will let me just, I guess I'll have to go do this workaround again. I hope it's not like suddenly being weird and now I'm going to have to do a weird workaround every time I want to do this. Like, why does technology just got to get more complicated? Like, do some simple shit sometimes. Wild. Joshua Bardu, hello. And yay, I'm glad that it worked. Congratulations, everyone. Oh my. Okay. Okay, thank y'all. Y'all clocked the Oceana song before I did. I'm now reading the comments, and y'all were like, no, Oceana song was the 5th one. So y'all are all like, calm down. You're just so irritated right now that you can't count, but calm down. Oh, my Lord. We got it figured out. Oh, gosh. Oh, GGG, got a delayed echo of my voice. Oh. Hopefully that's gone. I clicked out of that. Hopefully that's gone. Jeez Louise. Sorry about that. A bee funhouse. Yeah. Funhouse, not fun. Creepy, weird. Amy Davidson, hello. He said he is U.S. citizen. He did his bishop time in Peru. Interesting. Man, thank y'all for putting up with all this mess. We've had a lot of Pope talk today. Read on like 4 different Pope things. Glad that we were finally able to troubleshoot and do our gifting 5. So thank y'all for that. And let's see. I've been talking and running my mouth for over an hour and 20 minutes. So I need to get on and go. 1, so I can be productive in the things that I'm supposed to do today, not just the things that I want to do today. And 2, so that it's not such a burden on the replay crowd whenever they go to watch. Whenever it starts getting up towards 2 hours, it makes it harder on them, and I feel bad. So I need to head out, but I'm grateful for y'all putting up with all this weird chaos for today. Thank y'all for your patience here. Glad that y'all couldn't make it. We've had a really good and interesting conversation today and digging into all this stuff. So this has been fun. But yeah, I hope that y'all have a good weekend since that's on the way. So yeah, big hugs to everybody. Y'all know that I love you, mean it. And don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. I love you, mean it.